Dualshock'd, the Brotherhood of Geeks PlayStation podcast. I'm one of your hosts, Brett J. Rasmussen, and over here I got my other co-host.
Yeah, Spectre.
Yeah! What's up, man?
How's it going?
Doing good, man. Doing good. What have you been up to? Talk to me, Spectre. What's been going on?
Yeah, I've kind of been just like obsessed with Final Fantasy X, surprisingly, of all games.
Wow.
I'm just like, you get past like the initial, I was talking about that last time. You get past all the initial like early game stuff and you get to the end game and it's just like you kind of want to just keep grinding it out until you get to the end. So, just been playing a lot of that. Beyond that, honestly, just been working a lot, doing some stuff with the house and some game collecting stuff. I know eventually we're going to have some videos about that. I'm a big game collector, so kind of talking a little bit about that. But yeah, otherwise, really, that's been the only game I've really been playing, other than Spider-Man here and there, which is a good, I still say is a good turn your brain off type of game. I'm not in love with that game like you are. But so I think if you look at the game just from a mechanic standpoint, it's generally pretty fun. If you could just skip the cutscenes, the terrible parts where it forces you to do stealth with different characters. Aside from that, it's a pretty competent game that looks good and it feels good to play. So been bouncing between that and Final Fantasy X. And then watching my fiance play. She's playing Final Fantasy IX right now. So
nice.
when I don't want to exert the mental energy, I just let her play and have that on in the background.
Yeah, no. Let's see. Like for me, I've been playing good old Destiny. I've been playing that because I actually now have some buddies of mine who are like, we're trying to do this and we're trying to do that. And I'm like, all right, let me actually like level.
You should try to actually get you should get the platinum.
That's what that's exactly why. That's exactly why. Because I need to do.
Nice. Because every time I look at I lurk around a lot on my friends list and I look at what people are playing, just kind of like get an idea of what everyone's playing. I always see you playing Destiny, but I just think like, how do I have the platinum trophy and you don't? You probably put like 400 hours into this game.
Because when you got the platinum, you were very much like, I'm just going to get the platinum and then I'm done with this game. Where for me, when Destiny 2 came out, that was when it was still part of Activision. And Destiny 1 was okay. It was literally the only reason I kind of came back to Destiny 2 was like, all right, new game, all right, that kind of stuff was because of the gunplay from Destiny 1. It's Bungie, and Bungie, in my opinion, has the best gunplay. So I played Destiny 2, played the original campaign, the Red War, when you have to fight, I believe it's Gaul. And I played it and I was like, all right.
You said I think you told me before, like you said they changed the game, right? Like it's more challenging to get the platinum now than it did when it was first launched, like when I played it.
Yes and no. So what you had to do before they changed it, so you can now, like there were trophies, like for instance, I only played as a warlock. And I haven't made a Titan or Hunter class at all. So I had I had a Warlock class from Destiny 1, and then I ported over to Destiny 2, and I played that throughout, and I kind of came back in and out through seasons and years and so on and so forth. And it's really only been pretty much the past year or so where I've really kind of been spending time with that game. And what happened is that I made a Titan class and a Hunter class, and then after you finish the opening mission, the trophy pops and gives you the open up every subclass for Titan, Hunter, or Warlock. So I did the first mission, and I'm like, oh, I got my Titan. I got the trophy for the Titan and the trophy for the Hunter. Great, because now the game has progressed so far where that's not like you just do this first mission and then you get the trophy. The last two trophies I need is do a strike on Master and Grandmaster difficulty before New Light, which is like the free-to-play version, which is the version that you have now. It was you need to finish the Leviathan raid, which was the raid from Destiny 2, and do the Leviathan raid in Prestige.
Yeah, I remember that. Yeah, I remember that.
So, really, if you do the raid and you have the right team of people, you can do it. Now, they changed it. You do have to be, like, max power level in order to do Grandmaster. So that's kind of the grinding that you have to do. Where, like, when you had the Leviathan raid, you would need to be at level for it. Also, you would need a team that knows what you're doing. So it's kind of pros and cons to both. But no, I've just been like playing that. And really, this current season of The Chosen is actually really fun. And the reason why I keep going back, because in the past I would be like, all right, play the opening part, and then that, and then like, all right, there's really nothing here for me to do. I'll just come back whenever. But really now they have like every week there's 10 tasks to do. 3 of them are part of the story. Or one mission from the task is part of the story. You have 2 others that give you more level for one of the vendors, and then you have other things to do. So it's a task sheet, I guess, for you to do. So it kind of gives me more reason to continue playing, which is fine. It's the continuous loop of like, go do this thing, and then you are trying to stack missions on top of each other to get. So I'm like, all right, I'm working on this catalyst for this weapon, which gives you more bonuses. But also I'm doing this mission, so you're trying to stack different things on top of each other so you can get the most progress. So that has been my like live service game that I've kind of been like, all right, this is the one. Where I think for you, Spectre, has been like World of Warships, I think.
Oh yeah, that's always kind of my go-to, type of experience. I love World of Warships. I still play that quite a bit here and there. Just a fantastic game. Just nothing else really quite like it out there.
Yeah. So I mean, like that. Like I played it with you, so that way you could get the platinum. And
I appreciate that.
Not a game for me. I see that 2% there, and I'm like,
I do. And though I do give you a lot of credit, I give you credit for trying it. It's like I said, it's definitely not your game, like you said, but I do give you credit for giving it a shot. That's fine. I think people need to get outside their comfort zone. I'm actually kind of proud of you for playing. I know you were doing me a favor.
Oh yeah.
But I'm kind of proud of you for playing it, because it gets you outside your comfort zone a little bit.
Yeah, and like. And I will say this, I'm kind of finding the enjoyment of games that I don't need to be as focused into the game as I would normally be. So like if I played like Ghost of Tsushima last year, our game of the year last year, I was focused in like the story and everything. Like whenever anything was happening in the story, I'm like, all right, like I'm here. Like, really, the only, like, where with Destiny, really, there's so much just like, all right, it's a story, plot, whatever. I kind of have, like, our podcast on, or, one of the other people I listen to, or I have wrestling playing, or, like, I have an episode of AEW Dynamite playing while I'm playing a video game, while I'm playing Destiny, or have music on, or whatever. Like, I'm not focused in the game, it's just something where I have other stuff playing, so like, I need to catch up on all the descriptions on YouTube. I'll play this while I play Destiny, and da-da-da-da. So I'm kind of finding the enjoyment of like turn your brain off video games. Like I was playing Kingdoms of Amalur too. I was continuing to play that because I'm like, I want to continue forward with that. I played a bit of Jedi Outcast too, I think from last week or whatever. But no, Destiny 2 has been what I've really been enjoying.
You should finish that. You're at what, like 98% that game. You should finish that game, that Jedi Outcast.
Oh no, that's Jedi Academy. I'm at 91% for Jedi Academy.
Jedi Academy.
The thing is, I finished all of the single player trophies. I got all of those. The other trophies are multiplayer, and you kind of need a trophy boost for that. It's like it's weird. So
Can you do it with like 2 people, or do you need like a bunch of people?
you can. I think you need a bare minimum of 3. I think because one of them is that you have to win a power duel. So 1v2, win a match. Don't use force powers in a match. Use a dual bladed lightsaber in a match. Like it doesn't sound hard, but in order for you to do it successfully, you do need a trophy boost. So
Gotcha.
yeah. So hey, if you want to download a good Star Wars game from the 2000s, Spectre, be my guest.
Yeah, I mean, I was thinking about it. I mean, I saw you playing. I'm like, yeah, maybe. I mean,
it was
I'd be down for it.
It's one of my favorite games from back in the 2000s when I was a teenager. God, I love that game. Also, Republic Commando is coming to the PlayStation 2. I think that got announced last week also. So that's gonna be fun. And
nice.
And I'm just gonna wait for Limited Run to make a physical version, a collector's edition, and then buy that, and then I'll have it. Woo! So there we go. Alrighty. So should we begin?
Yeah, definitely.
Alrighty then. So let's begin with what we always begin with: is news of the nation. Okay, so this is our news, video game news, topics, time, category, whatever you want to call it. News of the Nation is when we go ahead and go throughout the week of news topics that have happened throughout the past week in the video game industry. So let's begin with this. So we have found out that from Eurogamer that E3 2021 live event has been canceled, the LA City says. E3 2021's live event has been canceled according to paperwork filed by the Brand of Los Angeles Convention and Tourism. Last month we heard that E3's organizer and the Electronic Software Association, the ESA, had plans for a digital-focused show, though a live or hybrid event had not been ruled out. Now, documentation dug up by Reset Era, thanks to Twin Infinite, lists the show as a, quote, canceled live event, through with a potential license to return in 2022-2023. The show's production team may use E3's home at the Los Angeles Convention Center and its next-door LA live area for broadcast, which the document concludes. So now it seems clear that there won't be anyone going through the Los Angeles Convention Center this year. Just like as it was held last year, E3 was called off in the wake of the pandemic and the distribution it brought. Publishers were left to organize their own digital events, hence State of Play, Inside Xbox, and the Nintendo Directs. This year, the ESA has said it was to bring some of those desperate events back in house and back into a focused week of reveals without a physical show to anchor the event. It's unclear if publishers will be back on board to do will be back and to do E3, and they'll just continue to do their own thing. So what do you think about this, Spectre? That E3 is kind of, there won't be a live E3, which probably what this means is that it's just, we're not going to have E3. It's not going to be like a week or a weekend of stuff. It's going to be more like kind of what we had last year, is that it was like we had the summer of gaming that Jeff Keighley did, and he kind of sparsed out different like interviews and announcements throughout the months of summer. Then you had like State of Play and Inside Xbox.
Yeah, I mean, I'm more of a fan of the old school E3. I miss I kind of miss the pageantry of it. I miss the big reveals and the big shows and stuff like that. I do miss that experience. Like I said, I always bring this up whenever E3 comes around, but I was at E3 2011, and it really is a magical experience.
Mm-hmm.
And it's sad that we don't really have that anymore. I mean, it was going this way before, before everything happened too. This was kind of the way the wind was blowing, regardless. So yeah, I mean, it's just kind of sad. I kind of, I miss I miss what we used to have. But yeah, I mean, at least we're gonna have something. But I think you'd agree that you'd probably rather have this be like a real event.
I mean, like, with the pandemic happening, it makes sense. It does make sense, and until we can get herd immunity, then that becomes a different question. I don't know if we're going to be having that E3 event, because last year it was so hectic because the pandemic started in March, and then you have March, April, May, but so you had like 3 to 4 months until like E3 would normally start. So now we're pretty much a year out from when all this started, the pandemic started, and they're not going to do a live event, which is fine. I just don't know if they're going to be doing a branded E3 event. Now, mind you, the ESA has had problems. We talked about this on past episodes of Dualshock'd in the past years, where like I think it was at E3 2019 that the list of people who were going to, like, people who were invited or people at on panels or whatever at E3 got doxxed. So like their entire like where they live and everything was revealed to the public, and there's been a lot of problems with the ESA. Companies are paying far more money just to have a booth at the convention center or wherever it would be. That's why you saw EA, instead of doing it at the convention center, they did EA Play at their offices, like literally at their building, and so on and so on. So would I like a branded E3 event to happen during like a week or a weekend? Sure, of course. It's that, because it's the craziness. It's that, oh man. So like you have day 1, day 2, day 3 of E3, and especially like day 2 or day 3 is like the crazy one, because they would put like 4 different conferences stacked upon each other. It'd be like Xbox, Ubisoft, EA, and then PlayStation or whatever. But there's pros and cons. Do I miss E3, like that whole thing? Yeah, but like we're not in a place to do it physically. I do. It's great. Like I'll never forget my experience at E3 2016. I didn't go live. I didn't go to the convention. I didn't go to LA for it. I actually went to the movie theater when PlayStation did PlayStation Experience. And when they announced God of War, they opened with God of War, and then they showed Resident Evil 7, and then they showed, Last Guardian and Shadow Colossus and Spider-Man. Like, I'll never forget being in that crowd and hearing the crowd just roar with, like, excitement. Like, oh, it's amazing. So, like, I do kind of miss that, but we're in a different time right now. And I guess until we can get things back to somewhat normal, then I guess we could be talking a bit differently. And again, I miss wrestling crowds. I miss going to wrestling shows. And, like AEW was supposed to come to Chicago for the pay-per-view All Out in 2020, but they couldn't because of where we're at. And like, you can't, they're doing limited live audiences, but like, they were supposed to come to Milwaukee last year. Now they're going to be coming like later this year. So like, I miss live wrestling shows. So that's also to go with that. But do you think that because of this is happening, do you think that, let's say next year, because we're not going to see it this year, but do you think next year, let's say for instance we do get the herd immunity and we're at normal times, do you think that PlayStation, Nintendo, Xbox, and everyone else, do you think they're going to be down to be like, yeah, we'll go back to paying millions of dollars to doing it? Or do you think that they're gonna be like, nah, we're gonna just do what we've been doing for the past year or two, state of play inside Xbox, Nintendo Direct, so on and so on?
I think they're just gonna do what they've been doing for the last few years. I don't think this is it's gonna change when things get back closer to normal. Mm-hmm. I think they see this as a as a more economical way to do things. So I don't really see that changing. No.
Mm-hmm. Okay. No. And I agree with you there. So, yeah. So that is how it is. But let's move on. Next topic is that we have gotten an Elden Ring leak. So the game that is being made from software, and it's being kind of like written or kind of headed by George R. R. Martin, pretty much the guy behind Game of Thrones. He's writing a whole new story and a whole new thing, Elden Ring, and this was like shown off, I believe, I think this was like 2018 E3. It was a teaser trailer at, I think, PlayStation. And ever since then, people have been like, "Where's Elden Ring? Where's Elden Ring?" And it's been years since that. Well, now there has been leaked a video from it. So this article comes from Video Game Chronicle, and it pretty much is different tweets come up of like different like just videos coming from Elden Ring. Now the thing is that these videos are from it was 2019 is when Elden Ring got announced, but still that's a long time in video games. But pretty much is that these trailers are in from an older model of the game that has been being developed. So this game has still been in development, but they haven't been able to like say when it was or whatever. And again, the sources are always in the description, so if you want to check out the articles or whatever. But yeah, there's different videos of this being leaked out, and this has been a very anticipated game, about on the like almost on the level of Cyberpunk. Not saying it's going to end up like Cyberpunk, but like it's another game that I don't know how many people have been excited for this. Like this is very much people have been very excited for this game.
Yeah, I mean, and honestly, I don't have a whole lot to say about it. I'm a big fan of From Software's older work. I really enjoy the Armored Core series. I'm not really into the Souls series at all, and unfortunately that's pretty much all they really make at this point. I don't know a whole lot about Elden Ring other than just the basic premise of it that you kind of described. I'm assuming it's going to be another Soulsborne type of game. So I mean, automatically, I'm not really going to be terribly interested in it. But yeah, no, I mean, it's kind of weird to see a leak come out for this so far in advance. I mean, because it wasn't really. I don't think it's anywhere near release or anything.
No, I don't think so either. I don't think we'll be seeing this game until 2022, 2023 at least. So I don't know, but this is very intriguing, and I'm looking forward to seeing what could happen. I mean, again, I'm also in the same boat. Like, Souls games are not really my cup of tea. Now, mind you, like, the Souls games has revolutionized the, like, kind of the action RPG genre that it created. Like, there's a reason why people love the Soulsborne games. Hell, even God of War, like God of War 2018, uses a similar system. It uses you have stamina, and you can't just like dodge all the time. You have X amount of stamina, and you can do these every time you do an action. It uses part of the stamina bar. Even Jedi Fallen Order has the same thing. So it's like that third person strategy action game that the Souls game have now made famous, and people are kind of like taking bits and pieces from that gaming archetype and using it for their own games. So technically, Spectre, you have played a Souls game. It's just not an actual Souls game. It's God of War.
Oh yeah, well, I mean, there's definitely games that are influenced by it. Probably a good recent example was the Star Wars Jedi Fallen Order was an example of that. It was a game that was obviously inspired by it, took elements up from it. Mm-hmm. But yeah, no, it's not. In general, the games just really are not my thing. Mm. I don't have anything against people that enjoy them, but they're really just not my thing in general.
I get you. But let's move on. Next topic. What we have is that pretty much Need for Speed has been delayed. This is from Polygon. EA delays new Need for Speed and shifts Criterion to support Battlefield 6. So Criterion Games is back to working with DICE and will return to the racing series in 2022. EA will postpone the next Need for Speed game by a year and put the studio who works on Need for Speed Criterion to work supporting EA DICE's Battlefield series, which will debut on the PS5 and Series X this coming fall. In an interview, EA's top executive for studios stressed that neither franchise is in trouble, nor is Criterion being taken off of Need for Speed. Laura Mill, who is EA's chief studios officer, told Polygon that the pandemic working conditions and the Codemasters acquisition already delivering at least one racing game for EA later this year made reassigning Criterion a rational call. Battlefield, quote, Battlefield is shaping up great. The team has been working incredibly hard. They pushed hard last year, and yes, we have been working from home. And it's hard. It's hard to make games from home, and the EA DICE team is fatigued a bit. We have a great game and some incredible potential with this game. We're playing to win. We're playing to put a great Battlefield game out on the market. End quote. EA has told investors in November that Need for Speed and Battlefield will both get new games on the newest generation of consoles by March 2022. Battlefield's the next game, which hasn't been titled yet. And it was also mentioned in a call with investors back in 2019 that they're going to get a new Battlefield game. The most recent Battlefield was 2018's Battlefield 5, set in World War II. And then it talks about Criterion, that the last Need for Speed was very lackluster. And then Criterion made the Burnout remaster, which was meh. And so on and so forth. And then it kind of talks about how BioWare would abandon the development of Anthem, which we talked about in the last episode of Dualshock'd. So on and so forth. So pretty much what's happening is that Criterion, who has been doing Need for Speed, they have now been pulled from it currently and are going to be working on the next Battlefield. Battlefield 6, whatever it's going to be called, that game.
Yeah, I mean, it's like I said, that's gonna be a tall order to make Battlefield 6. I mean, it's got a lot of ground to cover from, kind of the disaster that was Battlefield 5. So I mean, it'll be interesting to see how it kind of plays out here, because it has to kind of redeem the how bad that game was. So
could you could you reiterate how, in your opinion, how bad Battlefield 5, and I believe we have talked about it on here, but just to reiterate, a quick little review, just to go over why the last Battlefield game, Battlefield 5, was so bad.
Yeah, of course. So, I mean, Battlefield 5, of course, was a kind of a major turning point for the franchise. It really rubbed people the wrong way from the get-go. It was the way it was advertised, the way it's really the way what it was presenting. Its vision of World War II. I mean, with this kind of bizarre fan fiction kind of perspective on it. I mean, I think what really set everybody off was that first trailer, where it showed a group of a group of World War II fighters, and including a woman in the middle of a combat zone in World War II, and she had like a prosthetic leg or something crazy like that. It was just really bizarre, absurd. It looked like something out of like some kind of like historical fiction type of movie, like something that wasn't taken seriously. But Battlefield, of course, I mean, it has its silly moments here and there, but for the most part, the main series has always been played straight. It's always been played as and really even Battlefield 1, the game before that, put a big focus on at least attempting some degree of verisimilitude. It tried to have it said, okay, this is what we're going to do, a serious take on World War I, and I mean, it wasn't a perfect game, but it was pretty well done. I think it was very well received, even by non-Battlefield fans. So I mean, it seems like such a bizarre non sequitur for them to go in this kind of really absurd direction with Battlefield 5.
Mm-hmm.
And I think as myself as a big fan of the series, I was kind of shocked by that. I'm like, okay, I mean, this is clearly not for me. And then it got even worse as I got closer to launch with with an ad campaign that basically, I guess there's few examples I can think of in history where a development team and a publisher just showed such open contempt for their own customer base, their own audience. Mm-hmm. It just was so bizarre to witness. There's few things that are like it.
That was the in chat, the free DLC, the you couldn't say black people, or was it that?
It was like there was the hashtag not my battlefield and stuff like that. There was a very negative fan reaction to the game. I'm not really a social media person, so I didn't get involved in that. But I didn't disagree with it. I mean, when you have a game that's a very long running series that's very beloved by its fan base, and you alter it so dramatically, of course people are going to be upset. It's like, what did they think was going to happen? Mm-hmm. It's like, you take this game that everyone loves and has a certain expectation for. What did you expect?
No, and again, I don't even play Battlefield either. Like, that's not kind of like my game. But like, even I am like hearing about this, I was like, what is happening? Like this, what is going on? So no, I understand, but hopefully Battlefield 6, the next Battlefield, whatever. It will be a better game. It seems like EA is really kind of cleaning themselves up. Like, Jedi Fallen Order was really fun. Star Wars Squadron was great. We're getting the whole Mass Effect, trilogy. Yeah, it has its like controversies or whatever. But like they're remastering the Mass Effect 1, 2, and 3, which is great. Hopefully this next Battlefield would kind of go back to, Battlefield 1 or Battlefield 3, 4, whatever, Bad Company, like the good ones, the fun ones. Who knows? I don't know.
Don't get me wrong. I mean, I'm very much of the mind that I would love to see it return to form. I'd love to see another great Battlefield game. Mm-hmm. And I'm going into Battlefield 6 with somewhat of an open mind. Like I said, I'm not going to forget what happened. Yeah. With Battlefield 5, but I'll judge it by what the game actually is when it comes out.
Yeah.
So we'll see. But I mean, like I said, it's got a lot of work to do to win over fans, because I'm still pretty jaded about what happened. I mean, they really spit in the face of their customers, and now EA is a big publisher. There's a lot of people involved. I mean, they've done some good things since then, but yeah, they got a lot of work to do to really make up for that, because it just really rubs so many people the wrong way.
No, I get you.
So we'll see how it all plays out and everything. But yeah, we'll see how it all works out.
I agree. Let's move on. Next topic is that Japan Studio is now getting reorganized. Coming from IGN, PlayStation confirms that Japan Studio will be reorganized. Pretty much Studio Japan, who have worked on the Ape Escape, Gravity Rush, and Last Guardian games, along with a bunch of other ones. They are kind of getting scaled back. Now, what we have gotten is that the original story, it has been updated, but the original story is that Sony is reportedly scaling back video game development at Sony Japan Studio, which is a Tokyo-based developer. According to sources at VGC, they're reporting that a, quote, vast majority of Japan Studio's developers have been laid off after their annual contracts weren't renewed. What remains at the studio remains at the studio are the localization and business staff, as well as the Asobi team, the developer of the Astrobot series. Asobi will reportedly continue to make games as a standalone studio. Now, we have been updated, like at the top of the article. So, Sony Interactive Entertainment has confirmed that PlayStation Studios Japan Studio will be reorganized following reports that game development at the first-party developer will be scaled back. In a statement to IGN, Sony announced that Japan Studio will be, quote, recentered around Team Asobi, the guys who make Astrobot. So they were the guys who made Astrobot's Playroom. They're the guys who did Astrobot Rescue Mission, so on and so on. Localization, IP management, and external production will also be concentrated within the global functions wing of PlayStation Studios. Sony launched PlayStation Studios as a new umbrella brand that houses the company's first-party game developers, including Sony Santa Monica, Naughty Dog, Sucker Punch, Insomniac, and much more, effectively shifting parts of Japan Studios' assets to the global brand. The full statement coming from Japan Studios says this, quote, in an effort to further strengthen business operations, Sony Interactive Entertainment can confirm PlayStation Studios Japan Studio will be reorganized into a new organization on April 1st. Japan Studio will be recentered to Team Asobi, the creative team behind Astrobot's Playroom, allowing the team to focus on a single vision and build on the popularity of Astro's Playroom. In addition, the roles of external production, software localization, and IP management of Japan Studio titles will be concentrated within the global functions of PlayStation Studios. So, pretty much what it means is that, like, it's not being like people are getting laid off. It's actually what's happening is that Japan Studio is kind of going to get more condensed down, restructured, and going to be more part of the PlayStation Studios umbrella. More. It's going to be more focused on, like, the Astrobot games. Whether that's a good thing or bad thing, I'm not entirely sure. Mind you, Astro's Playroom, which is you get free if you got on the PS5, is fantastic. It's awesome. I didn't think that this kind of like, here's a free game. Like, it's really fun. But how do you feel about this, Spectre?
I mean, I don't really have a strong opinion on it. I didn't play the Astrobot game. I do plan to play it when I get a PlayStation 5 here eventually. Mm-hmm. But I guess I don't have a really strong opinion on this one. I mean, what are your thoughts on it?
So I think for me, what I said is that, like, I think it's going to, for me, I believe it's going to be more of what we see in the future from Japan Studio. I would love to see them make an Ape Escape remaster, because Ape Escape from the PS1 are amazing. But I don't know if we're going to be getting that. And kind of like as it's been stated, they're condensing down. They're the guys who did Gravity Rush 1 and 2. They're the guys who helped out with Last Guardian. They did Ape Escape on the PS1 way back in the day. So, like, and they worked on a bunch of other games on the PlayStation brand. So, I think time will only tell. That's kind of my feeling about this. I'm not against it, but it's more of like, if they're going to be using Astrobot and that's going to be the focus, that's fine, because Astrobot's Rescue Mission was like a VR, was kind of like an introduction to the VR, and it's really, really fun. Astro's Playroom on the PS5 is so much fun. It did not deserve to be that fun. I honestly thought it was just going to be a demo to show off the DualSense and everything, but no, it's just a game littered with PlayStation references, and it's a fun platformer and so on and so on. So, yeah, I don't know. I guess we'll see where this goes. But let's move on. Next topic is that Epic Games buys Fall Guys developer Tonic Games. This is coming from Polygon, is that Epic Games now has bought Fall Guys. Announced via joint post on the Epic Games blog. The purchase is light on details, like the price, how much they paid for, but it does note that Fall Guys gameplay is not changing. Pretty much they bought it. The plans, they want to bring the game to the Switch and Xbox will continue like it was previously announced. beyond the shared vision among our teams, we see tremendous potential in combining forces with Epic, says Paul Croft, who is Tonic Games Group's co-founder and chief games officer. Back to the quote. Whether it's about making our own games the best they can be or empowering other game developers to take their content from a kernel of an idea to commercial success, we know that together we will be able to reach greater heights. End quote. While Fall Guys is the headline act, Tonic Games Group is an umbrella organization encompassing multiple studios, including other small companies like the Irregular Corporation, a publisher of indie titles like PC Building Simulator and Touch Type Tale, and Fortitude Games, a UK studio that has not announced their first project yet. So yeah, this has happened. So Epic Games has now bought another studio. What do you think of this, Spectre? Oh, I have something in my eye. I could take off my glasses.
Well, I mean, I'm obviously not a big fan of Epic Games in general. So,
really, why is that?
They have a horrible store. They're very connected to they're very beholden to their Chinese ownership. I don't see them as a force for good in the industry at all. Yeah, a lot of that stems from my hatred of the Epic Game Store. But yeah, no, I think it's a pretty common point of view. They're not genuinely seen as a positive force in gaming for the most part. I mean, maybe people that are less familiar with them, but yes, they're not. I'm not a big fan of them in general. So but this has been their strategy for a while here, is just to buy up as many games as they can and bring them onto their platform. It's kind of the old school Microsoft mentality of buy up a bunch of exclusives and try to get people over. But it's working for them kind of, but not really.
No, I get you. I don't know how I feel about this. Again, I'm also not a big fan of Epic Games. And mine comes from like Fortnite, and mind you, I understand why Fortnite is so popular, and I get it. I've played Fortnite. It's not for me. But I'm not a fan of the microtransactions. And again, I know of the Epic Game Store and how just messed up the launcher is on PC. Like, it's just not good. I don't know. I guess again, it's only a matter of time until we see the Fall Guy character show up in Fortnite, and then you can buy it or do the battle pass or whatever it would be. So, but that is big news that Epic has bought another studio. Now it's like they're part of Epic now. So that is pretty big. For me, I don't know. I guess time will tell. That's kind of my whole thing with this. So, shall we move on?
Shall we move on? Yes.
Yes. All right. So, next topic is that the PlayStation Store will end purchases and rentals of TV shows and movies. Coming from the PlayStation blog, PlayStation Store will discontinue movie and TV purchases and rentals. Pretty much is a short little article from the blog, PlayStation blog, and it says, at Sony Interactive Entertainment, we strive to provide best entertainment experiences for PlayStation fans, and that means evolving our offerings as customer needs change. We've seen tremendous growth from PlayStation fans using subscription-based and ad-based entertainment streaming services on our consoles. With this shift in customer behavior, we have decided to no longer offer movie and TV purchases and rentals through the PlayStation Store as of August 31st of 2021. When this change takes effect, users can still access movie and TV content that they have purchased through the store for on-demand playback on their PS4, PS5, and mobile devices. We thank you for their continued support, and we look forward to enhancing the entertainment experience on PlayStation. So, pretty much what this means, because of the kind of with Netflix, Hulu, Disney Plus, HBO Max, every other streaming service that we have, instead of buying separate movies and TV shows and renting them through the PlayStation Store, not a lot of people are doing that, and instead they're just opting into all of the streaming services. What do you think about this, Spectre?
I mean, if it's kind of irrelevant for me. I mean, I don't think I've ever really purchased anything on, directly like a movie, like directly from the PlayStation Store. So I mean, it doesn't really affect me. But I think it's just kind of the way the wind's blowing. I think for the most part, buying individual movies. I mean, people have we're spoiled for choice. We have so many different options for that. You can rent it from so many different places. Between Amazon and all these other streaming services, you can probably just find it already available for streaming, or maybe just pirate it or something. I mean, it feels like kind of a dead model. For me, when I actually buy a movie, I usually buy like a physical copy of it. And that's very rarely. That's only for movies that I truly treasure and I want to view multiple times. So there's not many examples of that I can think of, really.
No, it makes sense. It sucks because I actually did buy stuff from the PlayStation Store when it comes to like movies, TV shows. I have some Disney movies. Like I bought Goofy movie from the store. I bought TV shows like Adam Ruins Everything, and a bunch of other stuff. But yeah, it's just it is what it is. It's the streaming services, the subscription based model is now the superior version, and now that's what we have now. And now, even like 5 years ago, if not less, we didn't have all of we didn't HBO Max, Paramount Plus, Disney Plus, CBS Go, all of the different channels of streaming services. People would be like, oh, I don't need cable. I can just get Netflix and Hulu and call it a day, and you pay less money. But now it's just, you're going to be paying the same price now. You got to have Netflix for the Netflix originals. Got to have Hulu for those TV shows and Hulu originals. Got to have HBO Max because you have all these new movies coming out on there at the same time they come out to theaters. Gotta have Disney Plus because gotta have old school Disney and new stuff, and then WandaVision and Mandalorian, which are just pop culture zeitgeists, and so on and so on and so on. So that's $40 right there, if not more, just getting those four that I named.
Yeah,
so.
No, I'm not a big fan of them myself. I encourage people to try to avoid streaming services when possible.
And it's also, you don't own them. And again, mind you, when you buy them from the PlayStation Store, you technically don't own them either. What's happening, again, they could. The good thing is that whatever you bought on for movies and TV shows on the store, you still get access to them. It's you bought them, you have them, because you spend the money and they're just on demand. But you can't buy new stuff anymore. So, I mean, again, that's why I very much prefer physical games, movies, TV shows, stuff like that, because I have it. It's mine. I don't have to, worry about this getting canceled or pulled or whatever. So
I'm on the same line. I mean, there definitely is a place for the, for the digital side of it as well, too. I prefer digital for a lot of things, especially for games that I kind of, or movies that I see as more disposable. Things I'll watch once and I'll never, or play once and never play again. That's more so where I think there's a place for digital, because basically it just is the same as what we used to do with rentals. It's the same as that concept. I mean, because you never owned those movies either when you grabbed them from Blockbuster. You just had access to them temporarily.
Yeah.
So I think it's kind of the similar idea as that. So I that's why I'm not strongly opposed to digital as a general rule, but yeah, no, I think physical is still probably the best way for things that you truly cherish is what I recommend.
Yeah, I get you there. Let's move on. Next topic is that we had a PSVR Spotlight. Pretty much on the PlayStation blog, and on YouTube, PlayStation announced 6 new PSVR games that are coming to the PSVR. So they announced one, and we'll talk about one of them from this, because I think you'll enjoy this. But the new games that they announced is that from the creators of Arizona Sunshine, a game called After the Fall, brings fast-paced co-op FPS action to the PSVR. There's a new expansive JRPG-inspired MMO called Zenith. I Expect You to Die 2, The Spy and the Liar, returns to PSVR. A PSVR action adventure game called Fract comes this summer. Uh, you embrace your primal wilderness of PSVR survival game in Song in the Smoke. And then let's talk about this one. And again, if you want more information on these separate games, the sources are all in the description. And then for this topic, it's the blog, and then the post about these the spotlight, and you can go into each of the different games. But I wanted to talk about this one a little bit more. It's Face Your Nightmares in Doom 3 VR edition for the PSVR, and it's a complete version. Not only is it going to be Doom 3 on the PSVR, you also get the Lost Mission and Resurrection of Evil DLC or expansions on top of this. So it's going to be VR enhancements and everything. You can use this on the PS5 because if you get pretty much the PSVR adapter piece, you can pretty much, it's a USB port that plugs into the back, and then you can plug the PlayStation camera into the other port, giving you the ability to do it. So you still need to use a DualShock 4 on your PS5 if you're going to be playing on VR. And then you need to use PlayStation camera and the Move controllers and so on and so on. And we talked about how they're making a new VR, but as of currently, that's what you have to do. But they're going to be making Doom 3 in VR, which is coming soon. What do you think of this?
Yeah, I mean, I enjoyed Doom 3 quite a bit back in the day. I mean, it's always kind of seen as the lesser Doom sequel. I mean, it rubbed a lot of people the wrong way. Just to kind of give a quick mini review of it. It just it felt like it leaned more into the survival horror direction compared to classic Doom that we all knew and loved. But I enjoyed the game. I played it back when it first originally came out. I enjoyed it. I still enjoy it. Is it my favorite Doom game? No. Do I think the newer Doom games, 2016 and beyond, are better? Yes. But it's still enjoyable. I played through it. I enjoyed it. To play it in VR, like I said, whenever VR comes up, I always have my same kind of gripes with it. But at least of this, it seems like kind of an interesting concept. I wonder how. I guess I'm sort of curious about it just because it was a game that was obviously never designed for VR originally. So I'd be curious to see how it plays. It's and really for a game like Doom 3. More so than like just another, like if they were to do, they kind of did do this with Doom VFR, like more so than just doing this with a modern Doom. I think Doom 3 kind of lends itself better to this because the way Doom 3 works is there's a lot of scenarios where you're in a very dark room and monsters will spawn, demons will spawn in kind of these dark kind of closet areas, so they can sneak up on you. I think that lends itself pretty well to VR. So I guess I mean I don't know. I might actually consider checking this one out. It's because it sounds like kind of a cool concept, and at the same time, like I said, it's a game that was never designed for VR, obviously. So I'm even more curious to see how that plays out. So yeah, maybe I will try it.
Yeah, and this game comes out March 29th on the PS4, and then it'll be backwards compatible to PS5. So there you go. Yeah. But let's move on. Next topic is that Marvel's Avengers is changing how XP works and quality of life changes. So we have, and how they're doing XP is really bad. So it's not good. It's bad. So from Square Enix, this is the actual post, and then I have more to it after. So, of course, we got on March 18th, they're going to be doing the next-gen version of Avengers. So, if you want to play it on the PS5 and Series X, it's actually going to have the 4K, it's going to have all of the different upgrades to going from PS4 to PS5, that kind of stuff. But they're making some changes. So, the biggest one that everyone's talking about, and this is the stupidest thing ever, so from this, since we launched last September, our balance team has been evaluating the XP curve for leveling from level 1 to level 50, and then so on, because you can max to 150. And they're going to be making some changes to address two core issues. The current XP curve isn't really curve at all. In most RPGs, the amount of XP you need to level up increases as you gain levels on a curve, but our system is a straight line. This has led to pacing issues such as skill points currently being awarded too fast, which may be confusing and overwhelming to newer players, which is... We want the decision to invest in a skill or heroic to be more meaningful. Based on these issues, will be increasing the amount of XP needed to level up, starting from level 25. This amount will increase the closer you get to 50, so it'll take you longer to reach higher levels. It will only affect character level, not power level. If you already have a level 50 character, which is the current max, power level is 150, character level is 50. This won't affect you if you have a character who isn't level 50 and want to speed their progress. Take this time to do so before the update on March 18th. Note, due to a bug we discovered, players can level characters at a blistering pace if they had multiple high-level characters. We intend to fix this issue once Clint arrives. And Clint, who is that's Hawkeye, will be there. So, and then they're going to be reworking how players can obtain certain cosmetic items with a goal. So instead of just getting random stuff, you can actually you can work to a specific outfit that you want. And then, we'll get this out of here. I don't need this. They're working on emotes also. And then we want to give players a more immediate reward for activating Hawkeye's challenge card. So on and so forth. So the good thing is that you can, instead of getting random costumes, you can work for the costume that you want. But yeah, they're making it longer. And then they put up on Reddit. There's an article from IGN kind of going over it a little bit more. But on a Reddit thread, they wanted to clarify what it is. So why are they doing this at Y when you get to level 25? Why does it take longer? Currently, as you get to higher levels, the XP between levels didn't scale well, but your ability to crush enemies certainly does speed up at higher levels. So you could end up leveling 2 to 3 times per mission, with missions taking around 10 to 20 minutes in length. The problem that we're seeing and hearing is that you would immediately get more skill points than you had time to review, apply, and get used to before embarking on your next mission, getting your next few levels, quote-unquote, fixing that. We want people to level up. In fact, we really want to see more people level up heroes and playing and again, this is all in the sources in the description, but they wanted to smooth the level curves to make it so you were less likely to ding, which is every time you level, more than once or twice per mission at a higher end. There is so much more variability in how quick you can gain XP levels, level type missions, so on and so forth. But the end result in tuning was meant to add around 3 to 5 hours to reach maximum level in total. This means leveling at a steadier pace and around every 2 to 4 missions out in the upper end. We consider this a way to achieve a clearer ding threshold and more time to engage with and enjoy each skill purchase. We also tune the game to make early leveling slightly faster, giving people advantages, Lastly, more powerful enemies will grant additional XP, which will be more rewarding taken down. Hopefully this clears everything up. Blah, 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 blah. So, in a game that has a population problem, because I'm not playing that game. I've talked about this game. We talked about this game on our top 10 best and worst games of 2020. This made our worst list. This
yeah, it's I mean, honestly, it's taking a bad game and making it worse. It really is. That's really what this is doing. But yeah, I mean, for me, like I said, I never really checked it out myself. I think this entire game has been a waste of time and resources from sadly from a very talented development studio. And it's one thing for a bad developer to just waste their time making a bad game. It's like, who cares? But you almost feel like there was an opportunity cost when you have like a really good development team making just really crappy cash-in type of games like this. So.
That's what kills me is this game. I was excited for this game. I honestly was, and even when the war tables would show up, I was actually very much optimistic about this game. When a lot of people were like, "This looks bad. This does not look good. It looks like a PS3 game," and I'm like, "I don't know what you're talking about." And then the game came out, and I played it, and it was okay at best when you played the normal campaign, when you play up to the campaign, and then you beat it. And then once you beat the campaign, the game drops off a cliff, and there's no end game. We were supposed to get we were supposed to get Kate and I believe in October, Hawkeye in November, and I believe Black Panther in December with a raid on top of it and other content. We have gotten no raids, no new characters outside of Kate, and Kate came out what? In January, in February, something like that. This game is falling prey to the pitfalls of Anthem. This feels like Anthem all over again. And that's the worst thing. You have a population problem, and instead of the whole thing, that fine, if I have to level, fine, but I'm not going to go ahead and do level grinding. Hell, even Destiny had this problem years ago. That's what Bungie did. I don't understand this. Is Bungie was one of the first developers to make a live service game, or to make that game type popular. We've had live service games, but they never really kind of worked out so well. But Destiny was kind of the first one. And they kind of tripped over themselves and messed up. And then also you had Activision yelling at them to put in more microtransactions, to do more crap. And now Bungie has gone off and done their own thing. And now the game is actually really fun. Hence why as I talked before, I'm playing it. Avengers, this just gives me more of a reason to not go back. This doesn't give me great, I have to go ahead. So you're telling me I have to wait. If I want to get all of my guys, Thor, Iron Man, Hulk, Cap, everyone, to level 50. I have to go ahead and do that right now before March 18th. So I am now on a timer to go do that. Because if I don't, then it's going to take me 5 more hours to level? Get out of here. This leveling is not the problem. You have far more problems than doing that. What you need to do is you need to get more content out. You need to get more characters out there to play as, because that's the whole thing, is that Marvel Avengers, you can play as all different members from Marvel and blah, 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 blah. We don't even have Spider-Man. And even then, Spider-Man is only going to be on the PlayStation brand. Honestly, I understand that that's a contract that Square Enix and PlayStation has with each other, and that's that's why Spider-Man is going to be on PlayStation. But you kind of may need to do something different, maybe an exclusive raid instead of an exclusive character, because Avengers needs something in order to bring fans back. Making XP leveling longer, this is not it.
Yeah, it's yeah, no, I feel for you, man. I know you enjoy the game, but yeah, this is just it's part of just a series of disappointing news on this game. Nothing good has come out of this,
No, and again, I wanted to enjoy the game, the thing is, it's just bland at best. It's just bland. Even the campaign felt kind of meh. There were just moments in the campaign that felt awesome. Especially when A-Day happens, when the beginning opening part of the game, and then the finale, the final mission is really fun too. But it's no. But yeah, let's move on. I think I ranted enough about this freaking game. Let's move on. Next topic. Ghost of Tsushima's lead developers become the real island's ambassadors. This is coming from Screen Rant. Ghost of Tsushima's lead devs to become the real island's ambassadors. 2 Sucker Punch lead developers are being honored by the real world Tsushima as thanks for Ghost of Tsushima raising awareness about the island. Two senior members of Ghost of Tsushima development team will become ambassadors to the real island of Tsushima. PlayStation exclusive Ghost of Tsushima has been widely praised for its beautiful open world setting and compelling storyline, and Japan is one of the game's biggest fan bases. Ghost of Tsushima has raised the global profile of the real world island of Japan, Tsushima Island, since the game's initial release in July of 2020. The result of this newfound fame saw members of the Ghost of Tsushima fan community band together to raise funds for the island after a typhoon destroyed one of its historic Torii shrine gates. The local shrine priest, Yurichi, sorry, let me just make sure I say this right. Yurichi Hirayama publicly acknowledged that it was the Ghost of Tsushima community that donated a vast sum of the final money raised through the Campfire campaign, Japan's counterpart of Kickstarter, that started to fund repairs. Now the island is honoring the lead developers, Sucker Punch Productions game director Nate Fox and creative director Jason Connell will receive the distinctions of becoming permanent tourism ambassadors of the city of Tsushima in Nagasaki. In a statement translated by VGC, Tsushima Mayor Hiroki Hitakatsu said, Fox and Connell spread the name and history of Tsushima to the whole world in such a wonderful way. Even a lot of Japanese people do not know the history of Genko period. When it comes to the world, the name and location of Tsushima is literally unknown, so I cannot thank them enough for telling our story with such phenomenal graphics and profound stories. Which is awesome. This is the first time in history that the honor has been bestowed upon those who spread the name and history of Tsushima through their works. The award has previously been presented to notable Japanese citizens. Due to the ongoing pandemic, the award ceremony will be held digitally. Fox and Connell both will receive a letter of appreciation with the presentation for their awards. Hitakatsu also shared that he wished he would bestow the same honor to the whole Sucker Punch team, as he has all of them to thank for the recognition that the game has done for the island. And so on and so forth. And then there's a rumor that they're going to do a sequel, blah, blah, blah. So on and so on. So, tell me what you think about this.
Yeah, I mean, I think it's great. It goes without saying. I mean, this game has been received extremely well in Japan, which is kind of ironic considering it really goes against the some people that had a narrative that this game was somehow culturally insensitive. Western developers making a game a game set in Japan about the Japanese. And it seems like Japan and now the actual setting of the game, the location here, they've embraced this game, and they see it as it's extremely positive. I mean, it's and really the game. I mean, it presents. I mean, it's a very positive portrayal of Japan in general. I mean, it's a maybe not so much a positive portrayal of Mongolians, but I think that's part of why they've embraced it. I mean, this was clearly made by a team of people that have a lot of love and reverence for that culture. So it's I mean, I think it's great that they that they're still being embraced in such a way. Like they got a perfect score on what's it called, Famitsu. I mean, there's just the Japanese praise for this game has just been consistent and quite high. So I think it's great.
Yeah, and again, we named it our game of the year for 2020. It's what a fantastic game. I cannot stop talking the praises of Sucker Punch and this game. So no, this is truly awarded. This is they deserve this. They have done such a phenomenal job with the history and lore, and just respecting the time of the samurai and how true it was to that time, and how Everything is. It's just what a phenomenal game, and they completely deserve it. And I am glad that the mayor, I believe, the mayor of the island or the city of Tsushima, he wants to also uh, award the entire Sucker Punch team, like the entire like studio who worked on this game, which is amazing. I love it. I love it so much. So no, it's completely well deserved, and I absolutely cannot wait for the sequel of this game. And it's going to be great, and I love it. And yes,
Yes.
awesome. All right.
Great.
So, and that is all of our news topics. Well, we do have one more piece of news, but that is going to be our PlayStation conversation. So, shall we begin that?
Yeah, let's do it.
All right, so this is our PlayStation conversation.
PlayStation.
So, Spectre,
Yes.
do you like Harry Potter?
No.
Do you like
No, I do not.
Do you like the Harry Potter books?
No. I
Do- do
I-
you-
and I
Do you like the Harry Potter movies?
no.
I already knew those answers. I already knew that.
I was going to say I'm not speaking out of a place of ignorance either. Too. I've read. I think I got up to the 4th book or so when I was in grade school.
Uh-huh.
That's how old we are now. So I did read the first 3 books at least, and then I've seen I think all the movies at this point.
Okay, so
All the mainline movies.
yeah, so not Fantastic Beasts, like yeah.
Correct. Yeah.
So we have to talk about this because this is kind of a lot of stuff has been happening. So we saw at the PlayStation 5 showcase last year that WB Games and Avalanche Studios has announced the next game, the new game called Hogwarts Legacy, which is a Wizarding World RPG game. Which is something I have been wanting forever. I grew up on Harry Potter. I love Harry Potter. I still love Harry Potter to this day. And like I remember playing Prisoner of Azkaban and Sorcerer's Stone and all of the other Harry Potter games that came out on the PS2 and PS3, where I'm like, man, I wish I could just walk the grounds of Hogwarts and just be a character here, which that's the premise of Hogwarts Legacy. This game takes place in the 1800s, so years before any of the events of Harry Potter. So that way it's kind of disconnected from that storyline. You don't have to worry about continuity and anything like that. But what has happened is that kind of recently J.K. Rowling, the creator of the Harry Potter brand, the Wizarding World brand, she has made some transphobic remarks on Twitter, whether you agree with them or not, or are disinterested, whatever, that's what has happened. And so people have been pretty much saying, don't buy this game, don't get it, don't support this game, because if you support this game, you are supporting J.K. Rowling, which then Avalanche and WB Studios had to come out publicly to say that J.K. Rowling has no place in any involvement of this game, whether creatively or otherwise. So she's not writing the story, she's not a consultant. It's just Avalanche Studios are developing a new game based upon the IP, because WB owns the pretty much their partner. They own the Harry Potter IP. But because of how capitalism works, is that still through royalties, J.K. Rowling still gets a tiny piece from royalties, so she still makes money off of the books, the movies, any merch, all that stuff. But now we've come to find out that so let me go ahead and pull up the article. Coming from Kotaku, A Hogwarts Legacy developer quits following backlash over his YouTube channel. Troy Levitt, who is a game developer at the center of a controversy that happened last month, and I'll discuss this a little bit more. It was discovered that he had run, quote, a reactionary YouTube channel focused on attacking feminism and social justice. Has resigned from his position at Avalanche Studios. Levitt announced his decision to part ways with Avalanche in a series of tweets. So his tweets that he put out, he said, 1, I have made the decision to part ways with Avalanche Software. I have nothing but good things to say about the game, the dev team, and WB Games. 2, I will be releasing a YouTube video about this soon on my channel. And then a second tweet, to clarify, I felt absolutely secure in my position. However, I still wanted to resign for reasons that I will explain in the forthcoming video. I'm in excellent spirits and very pleased with my relationship with WB and Avalanche. So what happened, as reported back in February, so this happened last month, is that among Levitt's videos are lengthy defenses of both John Lasseter, who was the Pixar co-founder who left his position at Disney in 2017 after allegations of sexual misconduct, and then Nolan Bushnell, the Atari co-founder, who Kotaku's reporting found to have fostered a toxic work environment for women. In some of his videos, Levitt expressed support for Gamergate, a movement that fostered harassment against women and other minorities in the gaming industry, and criticized Anita Sarkeesian's Tropes vs. Women series in a, quote, uninformed fringe position. Levitt discussed his opinions on Gamergate in depth during a 2017 interview, saying, quote, Gamergate, while painful at times, on the whole proved to be a good thing. Those are all his words, not mine, along with the rest of the article talking about it, regardless of your position on any of those. That's me talking. Back to the article. In the wake of this revelation and continued opposition to Potter, J.K. Rowling's transphobic views, it is reported last week that the game will feature some customization options related to gender, which now pretty much when you create your character, you have the ability to make them trans. So Hogwarts Legacy reportedly allow for transgender characters. I'll just go ahead and quickly pull this up. So coming from IGN about this specific topic, Hogwarts Legacy, let's see, as reported by Bloomberg, sources have confirmed that players will be able to create a character that has either a masculine or feminine voice, no matter what their body looks like. Furthermore, they will be able to choose to be either a witch or wizard, no matter what previous choices they made. This will then determine what dorm they are placed in and how they are addressed by other characters in the game. This news follows, and then it continues, so on and so forth. So, you can play trans characters, pretty much what it means, that if you wanted to be a guy, you can have a voice of a female. If you want to be, a male is considered a wizard, a female is considered a witch. But if you want to be a male witch, you can do that, or a female wizard, you can do that also. That's what this is talking about. Pretty much clarifying by Rowling. Yep, so no director. WB Interactive President David Haddad also spoke on the matter in late 2020, saying that I might not agree with her stance of topics, but I can agree she has the right to hold her opinions. Talking about what J.K. Rowling has talked about on Twitter and her transphobic, which I do agree with what David Haddad has said, is that he's saying, I may not agree with her stance on a range of topics, but I can agree that she does have a right to hold her own opinions, which that I do agree with. Not what J.K. Rowling has said, that even if you don't agree with what she says, those are her opinions, and you can just take them for what they are worth or not. And just, again, there's multiple sources. We had Liam Robertson, who is a game journalist from Did You Remember Gaming? He pretty much talked about this last in February. He's the one who brought this kind of all up. He has a huge Twitter and talks about how he brings up Troy Levitt, and he talks about his YouTube channel, and then he continues. He says, I want to make something clear. I'm not trying to cancel anyone. I just want to let people know this because I feel like it's something people might like to know before deciding whether to support this project. This is all public info and is there for anyone to find. In Levitt's in defense of John Lasseter video, He discusses how Lasseter was personally nice to him when they worked together closely on the Cars 2 video game. He characterizes the hashtag MeToo movement as a, quote, moral panic, and downplays Lasseter's many sexual... What?
I said that's such a cop-out, too. It's like, oh, I'm not doing this to what's it called? I'm really not doing this to it's just public information, blah 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 blah. It's such a cop out, though. That's hilarious and pathetic.
All right. So let me finish this, and then we can kind of discuss this. So back to the tweet. Liam Robertson, he continues. As he characterizes, and he's talking about Troy, he characterizes the hashtag MeToo movement as a, quote, moral panic, and downplays Lasseter's many sexual harassment allegations, essentially because he doesn't think any of them qualify as outright illegal, and he believes they were less severe than Harvey Weinstein's. However, he claims that making this distinction within the climate of hashtag MeToo could cause him to be branded a, quote, rape apologist, and says, quote, after all, I'm a white male myself, and so my mere existence is assumed to be part of the problem, end quote. And that's all from Liam's tweets, and that's what got pulled up from February. And they're on Troy's YouTube channel. He has a bunch of videos and stuff. Mind you, these videos that are posted are not recent. The most recent video, and you can pull up the YouTube channel, the most recent video that he did was 2 years ago. So these videos that were made are not current. These are not made that he made within a week or two ago or whatever. Whether the videos that he made on his YouTube channel, whether they are true to him currently or not, these videos are made 2 years ago. So let's discuss this, because we have now just opened up Pandora's box. So I'm wondering where you are at, Spectre, because I know you. But let's go ahead and try to kind of parse through this gunk, because this is multi-layered stuff that is happening. This is not as easy as he was right, he was wrong. There's very much levels to this, and so on. So, go ahead, Spectre.
Yeah, well, like I was saying earlier there, I think it sounds like he's kind of throwing this guy under the bus. Like he's drudging up all this old, this ancient stuff that really doesn't matter. And it's like, oh, I'm just putting this out there. I think people that should buy the game should know. I mean, it's such a cop out type of thing, like oh, I think people should know.
Now you're talking about Liam, right? You're talking about Liam, right?
Yeah, guy that's drudging all this, all the murking all this up, basically. Yeah, that's what I'm referring.
Okay, keep going. I just wanted to clarify. Keep going.
Yeah, but yeah, I mean, like I said, to come at from my perspective here, personally, like I said, I don't care about the Harry Potter property at all. Like I just explained, before. I think this is just like another cancellation attempt. Basically, it's saying this person is this person is evil. We got to do something about them. That's really what this is. This is all about. I don't think really. Even going back to the original source of controversy, the J.K. Rowling thing, I don't really think that was all that controversial either. I don't think she really said anything that was really out of all that crazy or out of the norm. So for me, I mean, like I said, it's hard for me to muster up a lot of, to care about this in the same way, because I just don't, I don't care about the Harry Potter franchise or property, but, it's just, I don't know. I think there's a lot of hyperbole here, and who cares who cares? It's not like this guy didn't really even say anything controversial or do anything controversial in the past. Gamergate was a large movement. A lot of people were involved in it. I completely disagree with the take that they have, that it was a movement about somehow harassing women or minorities or whatever. I think that's completely absurd. That's not. I wouldn't characterize. It sounds like someone that just has no idea what they're talking about, really. So I think it's a lot of hyperbole in this. But yeah, no, it's just it's hard for me to care in general. I mean, I don't know what's your take on this? Are you still buying the game? Is this enough to offend?
So first, before I answer that, I just want to bring up that Troy Levitt, his start, he was a consultant on games like 1996's Twisted Metal 2 and Jet Moto 2 on the PS1. And then he had a long stint at Disney. He contributed to a variety of licensed games and directed several Disney Infinity expansions before he left the company.
This is the what's it called guy, the guy that they're
Troy Levitt. Troy Levitt. The Troy Levitt is the same guy who just left Avalanche Studios.
Okay, so he's working on all these other great games.
No. That's what he has done in the past.
Yeah, that's what I just said. He worked on all these other great games. So I mean, Jet Moto is fantastic. Twisted Metal is fantastic. Throwing this guy under the bus, for no reason. This poor guy.
Well, again, the thing is that he left. The thing is, he didn't get fired, or he didn't He left of his own volition. He left of his own choice. But.
Well, I wonder what the real story is.
No, I get it. So, I mean, the thing is, he did leave on his own choice. But it just seems like this freaking video game can't get a goddamn break. Like it's just, this game gets announced out the gate. People are just going, don't buy this game. Don't touch this game. You're, don't buy this game. If you do, you support J.K. Rowling, who is a transphobe. And technically, that's not wrong because J.K. Rowling gets royalties from that. Harry Potter has been a very big part of my childhood. Harry Potter was very, important to me. It's still important to me now. Because I think I talked about this before when we talked about the PlayStation Showcase on a past episode of Dualshock'd. But I can separate the art to the creator. The art and the people involved in the art, the thing is that yes, Emma Watson, Daniel Radcliffe, and Rupert Grint, who the main guys of the movies, they all were we do not agree with what J.K. Rowling has said. We are thankful to the careers that she has given us, but we do not agree with what she is saying. But then you've also had other actors like Robbie Coltrane who have also come to support her, what she's saying. And the whole thing is that J.K. Rowling has said is that if you are trans, so if you are from male to female trans, you do not get the same rights that feminism has. You do not have access to feminism like a woman who was born a woman. I disagree with that personally. Brett disagrees with that. But I don't agree with it because I have a lot of trans friends. I have a lot of friends who are trans and they matter to me and they're important to me. But I don't like this whole thing of well, she has said these things, we need to end her career, we need to take away, burn the Harry Potter books, destroy all the video games she has made, destroy the movies that she is a part of. Avalanche has said she's not part of this game. She's not involved in any way outside of being the creator of Harry Potter in this game. Troy leaving because of the backlash of his YouTube channel, whether you agree with his views or not, and the thing is, I don't know if he still thinks that way or not. Now, mind you, it's on his Twitter, he's still in his info on his profile, he links his YouTube channel in there, so he didn't delete the YouTube videos or whatever. He did tweet out that he has demonetized the videos now. Also, so he's not making any money from the YouTube videos, whether he wasn't.
I give this guy credit. The balls on this guy to be in this kind of industry, which is very left wing. And to kind of openly advertise, a center right perspective. It's sort of like you're asking for it. So I give him credit for having balls to be, to do that. But
But-
yeah, no, I mean it's. Go ahead.
No. Go ahead. Go finish.
But yeah, no, I think it's just sad and pathetic. I think that the J.K. Rowling thing, like I said, especially is kind of funny to me because I've said it before. She's she's very left wing politically. To have them kind of devour her because she doesn't she has one element of heresy in her perspective is just kind of it's kind of sad to me. It's I don't know. I mean, at the end of the day, I do give people on the left, like I said, I'm pretty transparent about the fact that I'm not, I'm more coming from a right wing perspective, but I do give people on the left usually credit for the most part, they tend to galvanize and stick together. Recently we're seeing examples like this, and where they're kind of eating their own. Usually they look the other way. They're much better about doing that and being pragmatic than the right is. The right is very quick to throw people onto the bus and say, oh well, we're unpersoning this one, we're not going to defend them. Usually the left will stick up for people, even people that go against their code, essentially. Mm-hmm. But not that I'm saying that's right, but I mean, but it's from a pragmatic survival standpoint, it is right. So yeah, it just seems weird to me that they're going after J.K. Rowling of all people. I mean, someone who agrees with them on 99.9% of everything that they say, and disagrees in this one aspect of things, and now she's the devil now. It's
go ahead.
It's kind of, I was about to finish. Yeah, it's just kind of funny to me in a way. It's just kind of bizarre. I obviously from my perspective, from a principle perspective, I disagree with the whole cancel culture. I don't care what anyone says. You can say anything you want in the world. You're not going to offend me. I don't care. So I just at a principle level, I disagree with the whole canceling thing. But it's just kind of funny to me. In a way, she has it coming because like I said, she's the type of person that. I like when this happens to people that are more of the left of the left persuasion. I in a way I think they kind of have it coming because they're usually the first people to endorse this cancel culture idea. So it's kind of poetic justice when they get canceled themselves.
I also I'm not a fan of cancel culture. In the when it comes to cancel culture in the utmost of like destroying a person's career, like Johnny Depp, who has apologized profusely about what he did in the past, and I like, for me it's a case by case thing, because even James Gunn, who I guess there's a difference between saying something like horrible and or stupid is different to doing something bad and or stupid, but also I also do believe in second chances, and depending on what it is, like if you murder someone, like no, that's not cool. You can't, no, that's not cool. But like I don't know. This gets really murky and really it's hard because you can't really disperse about this. It's very difficult to kind of. There's no black and white to this. Like, for me, this doesn't change. When you asked me in the beginning, where like, are you still buying this game? Yes, I'm still looking forward to Hogwarts Legacy. I am still excited for it. This is what I've been wanting for years. Which is a Wizarding World RPG game. Whether the game is good or not, that's what we'll see. But I don't like it that this game is already being cut off at the legs before it even has a chance to start.
I'll agree with you there too. I think this game, for some reason, has become kind of a lightning rod that's just attracting all this this controversy for some reason. You think this would be like a game that would just print money? Like it's like, okay, there's obviously a sizable number of people that love Harry Potter, and it's stuck. It has staying power. It has legs. It's stuck around in the culture for decades now.
Yeah.
It's a big cultural thing, and you think a game that's kind of an open world game like this where you can sort of live the fantasy of being in the world, immersing yourselves, and you think this would just be like print money as long as it's competently made. But now it seems like it's just one thing after another. First it was the J.K. Rowling stuff, and now it's this person that's involved with it. It seems like it's just kind of become a lightning rod for controversy.
And the thing is that Avalanche is trying to mitigate the J.K. Rowling thing about being transphobic to be like, well, we're not, so you can play a transgender character in the game. If you want a male to have a female voice or a female to have a male voice, you can do that. You want to be a male witch, you can do that. Or a female wizard, you can do that too. So, like, they're trying to mitigate the problem that J.K. Rowling has kind of created.
They're a company, they're going to do damage control. That's the nature of the beast.
But again, who knows if that was kind of the original intent, or this is now them trying to be like, all right, well, we're not transphobic.
That's sort of a good question too. Part of me is very curious because obviously not every single company believes in this stuff. Obviously not. But most companies will come out and at least give lip service to things. It's just like earlier in the year, we saw a lot of companies that gave lip service to things like Black Lives, things like that. I guess part of me, there's no real way to judge this or to test this, but part of me wonders how many of these companies, and in general, are sincere about this. How and obviously companies are made up of a lot of different people. But in general, I wonder if the power players in these companies do they genuinely believe this stuff, or are they just doing it to save their own asses?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, you know what I'm saying, because some of them like Nintendo's, going back to that, like Nintendo's tweet, for example, it kind of felt like sort of a survival flight or fight type of thing as compared to other tweets which are more genuine. But so I wonder if they really are, if they really believe in this stuff and they're really concerned about the potential transphobic connection.
And look, I don't know, and maybe we'll never know. But the one thing I will definitely say is this is considered to be, this is an RPG game, a role playing game. I actually am a fan of the you can be transgender. It takes place in the 1800s, so historically, I'm like I don't know. But it's supposed to be fantastical. It's supposed to be kind of like over the top Wizarding World, that kind of thing.
Are you saying that? Are you trying to say that trans people are over the top?
No, but I'm talking about I don't.
I'm playing with you. I got you. I got you with some weird stuff there.
Don't mess with me with that. But what I'm talking about is that in Skyrim, you can straight up and down just create your character, and I wanted to do this, and everything. So this is this game is trying to be a role-playing game, an RPG. So if they're kind of going in that aspect of you can create your character to be whatever you want, that's actually pretty cool. Where you can just be
Well, I wouldn't use Skyrim as an example of a good role-playing game.
It's again, I'm using Skyrim because it's the most popular choice. It's one of the most popular RPGs out there. All I'm saying is you have that freedom of choice is actually, I am a fan of that. I know for me, when I play that game, I'm going to choose a male who is a wizard and going to have a male voice. That's how I'm going to play, but that's how Brett's going to play. That's how I'm going to play. Because what?
I said a male with a female voice.
Yes, of course. No, but the way I like to play my RPGs is that I create a character that's I put myself into the game.
So you play an avatar of sorts.
Exactly. I want to be I'm this is me in the video game. I'm kind of transporting myself.
It's not really a role. It's more so an avatar of you in the game universe that is a representation of you. Like a role playing. That's kind of an interesting concept in itself. So that's how you see it. As you role playing for you is more so kind of putting that avatar in the world. It's not really about playing on a role, taking on a role that's very different from you.
And like after like one of my when I played Coder was, I believe, one of like my first RPG game, because there's like numbers and stats and rolls and everything like that. And I pretty much made myself into that. And I kind of played games like that for a while. But now I actually play D&D on the side, and I play with my buddies and stuff. And I've kind of learned to like actual like role play. You're going to create a character that's not even close to how you operate. You're going to create a character with a backstory and everything. You're gonna play to that character's objectives, wants, needs, so on and so on. Like I'm playing in D&D. I'm playing a character who was this gladiator, this champion, and I took it from a storyline from wrestling. It pretty much is Johnny Gargano versus Tommaso Ciampa in NXT. But anyway, for all the you wrestling fans out there. But anyway. I have a character who is very much more stoic and more kind of pretty much more like chaotic neutral, or like kind of going like that, which is completely off of what I am. And I'm playing to my characters of what would my
know. I think we all want to know, is that character that you made trans?
Shut up, Spectre. Shut up.
That's all that matters.
The thing is that you can make your character whatever you want it to be, and I'm a fan of that. But like about the Harry Potter problem, the J.K. Rowling problem, I want this game to be good. I want this game to come out, and I'm hoping and I'm praying. I'm hoping and I'm praying that when this game comes out, this game is phenomenal. And
I should say that. One thing I will get into is I do feel for people like you. I feel because I think, like I said, you generally just want a good game because you enjoy the Harry Potter story and universe. You just want a good game to play. That's all you really care about. And
yeah,
I feel like you're getting hurt the most in all this, because like for me it doesn't really matter. What do I care if there's a lot of all this internal conflict and strife for this game? I have no intention of playing it. I don't care. I'm not a Harry Potter fan, so for me it doesn't really matter. And for the people that are complaining about J.K. Rowling and this this other developer or that was involved in the project, they don't really care either, because they're probably not going to play the game either. So the people that are actually hurt are people like you that actually would buy the game, the real fans that would enjoy it. So I feel for you, because you're the one that's going to get hurt in all this.
Yeah, I mean, like, look,
you're the actual victim here.
And look, like, the thing is, as I said, I can separate like Harry Potter, the movie, the books, the stories and the video games and everything is like that's art. That like they are good. They were important to my childhood, and I read the books and I saw the movies, and they like Ron Weasley. Part of my mannerisms. Ron Weasley is the character that I related to the most in the books, and like I picked some of those mannerisms that
you would be the Ron Weasley of the
well, yeah, like I mean, of course, but those books and those movies were kind of a bit foundational to me growing up and stuff. And I understand how and I get it. People are hurt and frustrated and mad for this was my childhood, and now you're saying all these horrible things that that these are you don't deserve to have the same rights as I do, and so on and so on. And they're hurt. They're hurt by that because they grew up with these books and movies just like I did, but it hurts them because the creator of it is saying these horrible things, regardless of what, like, if you think of them as horrible or not. That's your own opinion. You have your right to your opinion on that. You have a right to be hurt. Like those feelings of hurt by what J.K. Rowling said, they're deserved and they're right and they're correct. And if you don't want to support the game, that's fine. That's your choice. What I'm not a fan of is the straight up, I guess, murder or cancellation of, I don't agree with what you have said. So instead of like boycotting it and going like, won't buy this game, and if I'm going to boycott it and I don't want to buy this game and you shouldn't buy this game, like, fine, that's your opinion, but don't go ahead and make me feel bad. Like, it's not like I want to buy the game. I'm excited. Like, I have like, there's a video of my reactions to the new game being announced from the showcase, and I still feel that exact same way today because I'm able to separate. I can, and again, if you guys can't, and I understand that, and that is okay. But for me personally, for Brett, I can separate, the creator, which is J.K. Rowling, to the art, which is the books, the movies, the video games, and everything. And the thing is, like, I applaud Avalanche and I applaud WB for going, we don't agree with what she says. She's not part in making the game. Has no involvement whatsoever. And this is our game. This is ours. Do not connect this to J.K. Rowling. The only thing that J.K. Rowling is connected to is because she created this IP in the late 80s, early 90s. So, like, that like, and yeah, it's how capitalism works. It's how royalties work and stuff like that. And I understand if you don't want to buy it and you don't want to give her money because she gets royalties from the IP and stuff like that. I understand. I just want to see this game come out on top because the development team, and again, even with Troy, he left on his own volition. Whether you agree with his opinions or not, he left on his own choice, and he knew that, like, him staying because all of a sudden this is getting dug up and everything. And he's going like, I'm leaving the studio. I'm going to make a video to explain why I left the studio. I've demonetized all my videos on my channel. So on and so on. I don't agree with what he has said in, the videos are 2 to 3 years old. I don't agree. I disagree with Gamergate. I am anti-Gamergate. John Lasseter with all of that, like, yeah, that's bad, and all this stuff, so on and so on and so on and so on, all the things that he has said. The thing is that I just don't want this game to be cut off at the knees because Avalanche and WB are doing their best to try to make a good game within all of the controversies that are coming up with this game. And I just want this game to be good. I want to be able to buy this game, and if there's a collector's edition for this game, I'm going to buy the collector's edition for this game. Whatever it would be, if it's a statue of Hogwarts Castle, which that would be rad, or if it's a statue of like a magical animal or whatever it would be, I want that, and so on and so on. I want this game to be good. I want this game to be good and stuff. And yes, I disagree with J.K. Rowling, and yes, I disagree with what Troy said. But I do not want this game to be cut off at the knees or killed off before it's even ready to go. I will judge the game if it's bad when it comes out or when we play it or we get access to, like, what is this game about? Is it good? If the gameplay sucks and the RPG elements is more of a looter shooter like Avengers or Anthem, then fine. You're a bad game and you suck. But we don't know what this game is right now. And we won't know for a long time. So I guess that's my opinion on this game, on Hogwarts Legacy, and kind of what's going on. In closing, I disagree with J.K. Rowling, and I what she's saying is wrong. I think it was the words. I don't think I need to go ahead and say the words. I think what was said by the head director of the game. I think that was the best quote, and I'll pull it up right now, and then I'll end it there. But it was from the game director Haddad. I'm sorry. Yeah, so Warner Brothers Interactive President David Haddad, he said, talking about the matter of J.K. Rowling, he says, "I might not agree with her stance on a range of topics, but I can agree that she has the right to hold her opinions." And I think that's the best quote for that. I don't agree with her. I don't agree with Troy. But they have a right to their own opinions, and Troy has left, making his on his own volition of his own choice. And I will definitely bet dollars to donuts that WB probably already knew about all this. Still hired him because he worked on Twisted Metal 2, Jet and Moto, and been a part of Disney for ever. So, there we go. How about you, Spectre?
Yeah, I mean, I don't really disagree with anything this guy said or did. I mean, it seems like he was a pretty awesome developer. Like I said, Gamergate was not this movement to harass minorities and women. I have no idea what crazy conspiracy theorists these people are dealing with here, but that's not what that was about at all in the slightest. I like I said, obviously I come at this from a very different perspective. I don't think J.K. Rowling really said anything all that controversial. I think I think her worldview is I think she's a feminist, and I think she sees a clash between her worldview and this emerging view of this kind of redefinition of gender and sex for via the trans movement. So I think she's her comments were kind of out of a self-preservation mindset. Really, mm-hmm. I think she sees the two ideologies as sort of fundamentally incompatible.
Yeah.
I would agree. I disagree with both ideologies, but I do agree that you can't have. It's kind of like a square circle. It doesn't really follow. So I like obviously I have a different perspective on all this. I come at this from a complete opposite of you. You come at it from you're a mega fan of Harry Potter. You love it. It's a defining pillar of your childhood, and for me, it was a forgettable book, forgettable movies. I don't think it was all that important, and you're coming at it from more of a center left perspective. I'm coming at it from a much more of a right wing perspective. Mm-hmm. So we have very different views of this, but I think fundamentally, like I said, the point I'll close on is, like I said, I feel most sorry in all this for you and for the people that actually really enjoy this. They really enjoy Harry Potter, because I think you're the ones that are going to get hurt the most by this. Because I think we'll probably see more controversy erupt over this, and who knows how that'll affect the development of the game. Mm-hmm. So I feel for the fans, because those are the people that are actually going to get hurt by this. I'm not going to get hurt by this. The people that are causing all this drama are not going to get hurt by this either, because they don't really care about the game. Mm-hmm. So I feel for the fans. Mm-hmm. I really do.
Yeah. By the way, Spectre, you said squared circle. Does that mean that you're a fan of wrestling too?
No, I just I had no idea that was a wrestling reference.
It's like, again, the squared circle, like when you go into a wrestling ring, it's called the squared circle. I'm cracking jokes.
I was referring to a literal square circle, like an impossibility.
I know.
Like you can't have a square circle.
No, I get you. I just.
I had no idea that was reference to wrestling. I learned something today.
Oh, again, I have to give you crap sometimes. You give me crap all the time, though.
Yeah, but yeah, like this isn't. I don't have a horse in this race. I think it, like I said, I think it's sad, and it's really becoming more and more of a reach for these people to try to cancel and cause drama. Like they have to almost like invent stuff. Like they have no examples of like actual real controversial things that people say, so they have to sort of invent things and kind of keep moving the Overton window over to the point where literally everything is controversial. Even people like J.K. Rowling, who herself is left wing, is now she's not left wing enough. So now they keep moving the dogma further and further towards the crazy end of things, and until everybody is a heretic.
No, and again, I disagree with you on that. Like, again, I don't agree with what J.K. Rowling said. I completely I'm very much disagree with what she has said, and whatever Troy has said years ago on his videos, I disagree with that too. But like, I just as I said, I don't want the death of this game to be of all of these things. Like, if this game is bad, it deserves to be bad. But if this game is good, but it won't like be sold because of all these controversies, that's what sucks. And but yeah, I think we've all said our parts. So, whew, that was a long one. Thank you so much for watching, guys. Please go ahead and tell us in the comments. This is a big, multi-layered, murky water topic. And I hope we won't have any more controversies about Hogwarts Legacy, but I won't be surprised if there's more. But anyway, please let us know what you guys think. Do you agree with me? Do you agree with Spectre? What is your opinions on Hogwarts Legacy? Are you excited for that game? Or any of the other topics that we've talked about on this episode? But guys, thank you so much for watching. Thank you so much. If you haven't already, please subscribe to the channel. YouTube.com/TheBrotherhoodOfGeeks. Press that subscribe button. Also, like, comment, share, all that kind of good stuff. We want to go ahead and talk to you guys, but also you can press the bell icon. That way, whenever we put up a video, you know we put up a video. You can also follow us on Facebook, which is facebook.com/TheBrotherhoodOfGeeks. You can also follow us on Twitter at Dualshock'd BOG. That's the name of our PlayStation podcast, Dualshock'd BOG. And then you can also follow us on Twitch when we stream at twitch.tv/BrotherhoodOfGeeks. But yeah, so whew, that was long, a lot of stuff, but we got through it. We did it. Yeah.
Made it.
All right. Any last words, Spectre?
No, yeah, like I said, I hope this. I do genuinely hope that this game comes out and it's what you want. I really do. I like I said, I don't. You know, I feel for the fans, like I said.
Okay. Well, I guess we'll see when this game comes out, whenever that would be. Alrighty then. Well then, I'm Brett J. Rasmussen.
And I'm Spectre.
There we go. And as always, live to play together. We'll see you guys next time.